Hopefully everyone on has heard, we're starting recording. Hopefully everyone has heard of, this initiative that we kicked off about a year and a half ago that is funded by the American Rescue Plan Act. So we have 4 grantees that will be presenting their projects today. Next slide, Jennifer. I wanted to share this with you. We really, our projects, I think, in sort of buckets sometimes, and there are quite a few projects, over 40. So they generally fall within these 5 categories. Some are even touching on more than one category. That supporting those that support, so that is caregivers, DSPs, support through technology, community partnership, community change, information and skills for individuals, and exploring current models of services and payment. So you're going to hear from 4 grantees today who have different projects, different ones that are going to touch on different buckets. So we're excited to be able to give you a mix today of the different projects. Next slide. And I'm not going to talk too long because I know you want to hear from them, probably not me. I just want to share this website again with you guys. We have created a specific website within the FSSA HCBS plan page around the innovation projects. So it's not showing, but the bottom of this has every single project has what we're calling a one-pager, which again, one page does not do justice for what they are doing, but it's a snapshot essentially of their project and who is being impacted, as well as short-term and long-term goals, and they'll talk about some of that today. And I will put that link as well in the chat in case you're obviously probably not going to be able to type that in without missing some letters. So I will put that in the chat as well. This is being recorded, as you probably heard, and the slides will also be posted on that website that we just showed. Again, relatively soon. We're not going to wait. These actually, we are hosting these through June. And so we won't wait to put these on the website. So stay tuned, and you know, you can check the website regularly for these PowerPoints, as well as I will put contact information in the chat as folks are talking. In case you have any questions directly, please feel free to reach out to me as well, and I can connect you. We've had some great participation in these projects with questions and even questions after the fact. So I'm really excited to present Erskine Green Training Institute, New Horizons, Safe and Home, and Wabash Center. And they're going to give a 10 to 15 minute overview, and then we'll save questions till the end. If you guys want to submit your questions to the Q&A at the bottom of the screen, I'm happy to take a look at those. Sometimes we can answer them as well without having to announce it. So, okay, I'm going to turn it over to Erskine Green.
I've gone ahead and given you all control. So whoever wants to take charge at Erskine Green, you're good to go.
Awesome. I'll go ahead and keep control for now, Megan. I guess I'll hand it off to you once I'm done. But I'm Andy Kirby, the COO of the Arc of Indiana and the Executive Director of the Arc of Indiana Foundation. It's good to be here. And with you, Jessica, Jennifer, thank you for organizing these. I've personally attended a couple, and I know some of our team have as well, and we're learning a lot from them. So thank you for setting these up. It's difficult to control the slides. All right, so I'll just start off by giving a brief overview of kind of the Arc of Indiana and why we're doing this. So the Arc of Indiana is a statewide advocacy organization that's been around since 1956. We've advocated for many things over the years. Employment has certainly been a priority for us. As an organization, the Arc of Indiana has 46 local chapters across the state, serving almost 70 counties and about 85% of the population. So we have our fingers on the pulse of kind of the key and core issues that are affecting individuals with disabilities and their families. So we decided to take a novel approach to employment training back in January of 2016 with the building of our teaching and training hotel in Muncie, Indiana, and the creation of our program that we called Erskine Green Training Institute. So since then, we have prepared hundreds of people with disabilities for employment in hospitality, healthcare and food service. 80% of them are still employed after 18 months. Many of them have hit 4, 5, and 6-year employment milestones, and some are supervising and even training individuals with disabilities to do the job that they're currently doing. So why manufacturing? That's an easy answer for us. It's an industry that needs good, reliable individuals to fill a very large number of open positions. Conversely, we also believe that our population, so people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, have the skill sets and the talent to be able to do those jobs effectively. So we're excited about that opportunity. Some numbers to provide for you, and you've got a couple on here, I guess. So the participation rate in Indiana 20 years ago was 71%. By 2021, that number had dropped to 62%. So each 1 percentage point drop or movement in participation rate in Indiana represents about 50,000 Hoosiers. So obviously, the fact that we have fewer and fewer people entering the workforce is a big deal. We see people with disabilities as a solution and as another supplemental option for employers to consider. Manufacturers are increasingly seeing them as an option too, and are significantly being impacted by those workforce shortages. Recently, there was a report that came out that indicated that almost 100,000 positions in manufacturing would be unfilled by the end of 2022. And that translates to a huge financial impact as well, $6.8 billion. So the Arc of Indiana had been contacted pretty regularly and consistently by manufacturing organizations across the state who had indicated an interest in working with us directly and considering hiring people with disabilities. Because of our success with our other curriculum opportunities and program options in Muncie, we decided that manufacturing made sense. With this program specifically, we are taking what we have done effectively in Muncie for the past 7 years and converting it into a commuter model. So differently than the way we're currently doing it in Muncie, where individuals live on site, these individuals will not live on site, live at home, and commute to the training area. So we're working specifically with Allison Transmission on the development of this. And we met with them just yesterday, and their leadership team is very excited about the opportunity and about what our outcomes will be long-term. So I think I will go ahead and turn it over to Megan to share a little bit more details about what we'll be doing.
Hello, my name is Megan Stevenson. I'm the director of Erskine Green Training Institute, which is currently located up in Muncie. But we're excited, as Andy mentioned, to add a second location onto what we are offering the population that we serve. So like he mentioned, this next training program that we are going to be tackling is at Allison Transmission, which is, if any of you are into Indy 500, which this is your time of year, Allison Transmission is right near the track. In Speedway area. So this will be the location of this training program. Like Andy mentioned, the current model up in Muncie, although individuals can commute to that location, 97% of our students live on site at the hotel where EGTI is housed up in Muncie. This will look different. So this is going to be, these will be commuters only. So we really are looking at individuals who live in Marion County and the surrounding donut counties who are interested in this line of work. Our goal of the foundation is to grow the vocational tracks that we offer. Right now we offer hotel, restaurant, and healthcare programs. Well, not all of our population are interested in those vocational tracks. And so this manufacturing track will hopefully target a new group of individuals who are interested and have the skill set for this line of work. So we will be hiring 4 new staff with this particular project. 2 of those staff will be instructors who will be on site at Allison Transmission running the training programs. I've been at Allison a few times already, yesterday being one of the times, and I'm super excited to dive in now and really get into the weeds of developing what exactly this training program is going to look like in regards to how long is this training program, identifying what skills we feel are necessary for individuals to really be successful in this line of work. A lot of we met with the executive team yesterday and they're all very excited, and there's a lot of different plants at Allison Transmission. There are different plants do different types of work. So starting to identify, okay, which plant are we going to be training in? What transmission are we going to be working on? One of the individuals yesterday works in one of the warehouses over by the airport. And they do more packaging of parts and stuff. And he really seemed interested in wanting us to keep them involved rather than just being at one of the plants on site here. So that's where we're at now, is we'll begin hiring and then starting to really look at the details of the length of the program, what it includes, all of that type of stuff. So commuter model. So that's kind of the big difference here, is individuals aren't living anywhere. They're living in their homes. And then one of the roles that we'll be hiring is helping identify transportation needs. So does transportation training need to be involved with certain students, those type of details. So we're excited to get started, especially after yesterday's meeting. I left super energized, ready to get going. So we're excited to get this rolled out. And I'm going to pass it over to Alex now.
Hi, everyone. My name's, looks like there we the slides are jumping around here. But hi, everyone. I'm Alex Parker, Director of Development for the ARC of Indiana, the ARC of Indiana Foundation, and EGTI. So we just wanted to provide kind of our one-pager here to just give you an overview of how we're thinking about this project from the life course perspective. So as Megan and Andy shared, kind of what we're going to do is build this training program at Allison Transmission. And in building this training program and developing kind of the baseline manufacturing skill sets, important also those foundational job and independence and resiliency skills that come with our program. We're also looking to kind of support the culture at Allison Transmission that is one that includes inclusivity and diversity in their hiring and the way that they think about employing individuals with disabilities. And lastly, part of the project as well, this project will be part of a larger effort that we're looking at from the ARC of Indiana Foundation perspective of creating a culture shift across our state for individuals with disabilities and their families as they look at employment as an option to achieving that good life. This really will be a part of that larger effort. The ways that we're going to do it, we're obviously we've started with kind of our advocacy work with Allison Transmission, building those relationships that will provide us with that understanding of where we can enter into some of those initial entry-level positions and roles that we can develop our training curriculum around. We're going to market the program to potential students. We'll provide the training program, obviously focusing again on those job skills and skills for independence that come with our program. And our goals are to train up to 40 individuals annually. And again, that's initially, as Megan said, there's probably going to be opportunities for expansion at Allison, potentially to different sites, different plants. But we're really excited about the expansion opportunity for that. So from this program, we will see a shift in culture. We'll be able to sort of demonstrate that people with disabilities are capable of success in this setting. There'll be those increased levels of self-sufficiency, independence, but also part of that really is a reduction in demand for support services as individuals gain the independence and are working full time. We see a reduction in that demand, and through that, obviously, an improvement in health and wellness that are really key to part of those good life outcomes as well. So really, if we kind of expect to achieve our vision, we'll see that this curriculum is developed and consistent, not only with all expectations for this program, but also the expectations of our partner at Allison Transmission as well, and what they expect to see from an employee that's ready to step in to employment full-time, prepared, and with the proper skill set to be successful. We'll see manufacturing as a career opportunity for individuals with disabilities marketed across the state through a comprehensive recruitment strategy that will meet kind of our enrollment goals and demands for the manufacturing sector. Additionally, we'll see employment opportunities in the manufacturing industry as well, with full-time benefits, full-time job opportunities, and sort of a career advancement track as well. An additional thing that we kind of want to achieve through this program is replication. So we see this as a model that we can adapt to additional sites, additional industries that create a lot more career trajectories for graduates of EGTI. So just additional opportunities at different sites throughout the state. We really see this as a model that can be replicated well. Additionally, like Andy said as well, kind of achieving the manufacturing industry employment goals, but also our main goals through this are just long-term improvements to self-sufficiency and independence outcomes for individuals, and really achieving that good life through this program. Some potential hurdles that we see as we introduce this new program, I think there's always hurdles potentially. And so one of those might just be a lack of acceptance. And we've already seen that the Allison Transmission team, our meeting team, and some of their other employees, that they're already accepting and excited for this opportunity. But obviously, that's an ongoing education process to potentially delay culture shift. That as well is a fear of ours, a worry. And potentially interest in the training program. We know that marketing will be a key piece to this as well, to expand just community integrated employment opportunity. A fear of potentially impacting benefits is also a potential hurdle that we're worried about. And then, as you all know, in this industry, transportation is something that we're mindful of as well. Megan mentioned one of the positions that we'll be hiring is a sort of student support specialist role that'll help with coordinating those transportation needs for students to them starting the program, so that they can make sure that they're hitting their ground running and have a successful routine as their transportation needs are met as well. So with that, that's a very quick, very broad overview of the program, and curious if you have any questions, but if not, thank you so much for your interest and time today.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex, Megan, and Andy. Appreciate that information. Your contact info is in the chat as well. And no questions
Excellent.
right now at this time, so we'll see if there's any at the end. Okay, next slide. Here we go. Okay, Marie, go ahead and take it. Go ahead, New Horizons. Thanks. You're on mute, Marie, just FYI.
Okay, thank you. New Horizons is located in Southeast Indiana, and we provide a variety of services: employment, day services, residential, pre-ETS, community services, music therapy, and transportation. And I'm not sure how to control the slide change. Thank you.
You can just say next, Marie, and I can do it for you.
Very fine. Thank you, Jennifer. I also want to say before I move on here that these have been some very interesting projects. And I think hopefully as the administration looks at all these, we'll consider some very positive change and impact in our service industry. They've been very good. So the project for New Horizons is to set up a peer mentor program, and where we can have an individual with disabilities to be a peer mentor for someone with disabilities in the arena of services. And this came about because of staff shortages. We found that there were some parts of goals that weren't really getting utilized or met. And DSPs had to focus on the real core basic issues: health, safety, personal care, just routines of daily life. And oftentimes there wasn't that extra hour or 2 hours to take them to a movie or to just sit and talk or go play a basketball game or whatever. So we just, those are gaps in services that just couldn't be met because we were short in staff. Next slide, please. So the outcomes of the program is to develop a training program to prepare an individual to be a peer mentor. And as a part of this, I'm developing a application, kind of a screening tool for this. And then a checklist of interest to do the matching. And referrals for this will come from case managers, from families, from staff, of those who think they have individuals who might qualify for that. And then a comprehensive training program of 5 to 7 units on safety, on advocacy, about disabilities, some communication, how to listen, and what to do. And as I'm pulling this together, the actual outline of the training is going to be reviewed with the self-advocates of Indiana and some other self-advocate groups, because their motto is nothing about us without us. So I want to make sure they feel comfortable in some of the topic areas and that they're being presented in a more appropriate manner. And following the implementation, the training, we'll do some matching and then just have the mentor program take off and run. And along the way, there'll be that ongoing evaluation, review it, make some changes. And the goal in the end is to really share out the program for other agencies, anyone that wants to use it. Next slide, please. So the overall goal in this is to have a peer mentor program as a billable service under the waiver. I know that under some managed care programs and other programs, it is a billable service. The outcomes related to this in that way would be that there will be another option for individuals to have their service needs met. And hopefully it will increase the confidence of the individuals to make bolder choices and be more assertive in what they might and can do, and to become stronger self-advocates. The individuals having a peer mentor will be happier, having someone to do things with, and also provide opportunity for employment, not only through the waiver possibly, but they might take their skills and move on in other service industries as managed care and some of the other ones. Next slide, please. So there's some things to figure out, and the big one, as mentioned prior, was transportation. This is fine for those that live in town or are pretty close to each other. In rural areas is where I really identify a need for those and how to engage those with meeting up. Excuse me. I thought about some virtual visits, virtual time back and forth, and that will be a part of it, but sometimes it's not the same as having that person right there with you. Also will be, what type of tracking or documentation do we need as a part of this? And that's not quite been figured out. And then I've also thought ahead on some safety issues when they're out and about in the community. What can we do in case there's an emergency? And I've talked a little bit to Night Owl. Is there use of a smartwatch connected to a Night Owl system, where if they're in a jam, they need some quick help, they can just get that real quick. And in talking to individuals, it's just clarifying, what really is a mentor. Do they understand what a mentor is? And some of them just want a friend. They just want a best buddy. And I'm trying to sort through how to best meet that, and can a mentor, kind of phase over and meet all those needs in the same way. So some things to work through. Next slide. So I'm interested in thoughts, comments, and maybe experiences anyone's had related to peer mentor programs. This is still a work in progress. I've talked to maybe too many people, but I'm getting lots of ideas, and there's been lots of models out there. So I'm trying to kind of bring it down to one that feels good with the people that we really work with. So, and there is my contact information.
Thank you, Marie. I put that in the chat as well.
Okay, thank you.
Too, if anyone, doesn't want to type that in, and as well as that'll be in the slides too. So if anyone has any thoughts on this, please reach out to myself or Marie. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. We have Safe and Home here today, and I'll turn it over to either Scott or I'm not sure who's controlling the slide, Scott or Jennifer. Scott doesn't want.
It's up to you,
control.
Scott.
I'm,
You've got control, or you
I'm
can
just
just say
kidding.
next.
no, I'll say next. I'll control the voice. You can control the slides. How's that?
She's the behind the seat. You can, it's like she's not, you can't see her. She's like behind the curtain or something.
Thank you everyone for being here today. I can tell you I'm really energized by hearing about all the different projects through the summit, through these webinars that are taking place, and the fact that this is available for the individuals, you know, within our state is just a phenomenal once in a lifetime opportunity. So just very energized about it. So I am Scott Steele. I am the district manager with Safe and Home. And Safe and Home is a remote supports services provider. We actually provide remote support services in 14 states, Indiana, of course, being one of those. Indiana was the second of 14 states that we began providing remote support services in. So we have been providing services in Indiana for a little over 3 years, almost 4 years, and have really enjoyed our relationship with the state and the providers and all the various stakeholders throughout the state. Our project is actually a true service model project. Remote support services is currently an available service on both the CIH and the family supports waiver. And so we thought, and we actually got the idea from a different state multiple years ago. We approached our project as to inherently remote support services is immediately available. We don't have to hire staff. We don't have staff leave. We're a 24/7 staffed type operation. And because it's so immediately available, as in available tomorrow per se, we approached our project with a target focus to those individuals that are currently on the wait list. You know, first and foremost, they are on the wait list. They don't have a waiver. And secondarily, because of that, they are receiving no services. And obviously someone is on the wait list and has applied for a waiver for a reason. Sometimes they're not sure of the reason, and sometimes we're not sure of the reason until they come up for their application status. So our project is designed around providing remote support services at a level to individuals that are on the wait list that are 14 years of age or older. By design and by historically, an individual could be on the wait list on an average of about 2 years. So if an individual is on the wait list or has been on the wait list for greater than 1 year, then they are eligible to participate in the remote supports pilot project and receive remote support services for up to 1 year, totaling 2 years, which at that time, if everything goes according to historical data, they would have received their waiver. The way our project is going to work, there's been a tremendous amount of cooperation from the state and from other grantees that are targeting the wait list. There is actually a notification packet that is going to go out to all individuals on the wait list. Jennifer, can you flip to slide 2, please? Or maybe slide, yeah, that one there. This is actually the notification that all individuals within the target demographic are going to receive, and I believe this notification has gone out very, very recently, if not you know, today or within the past couple of days. This basically outlines the basic parameters of the project. An individual receiving no services over 14 years of age can participate in a free consultation and elect to participate in the project if they wish to. We're kind of going into these individuals a little bit blind. They're currently not receiving services. They don't necessarily know what it is they want or need. Therefore, we will do a real strength-based, you know, person-centered consultation just as we would with any individual that we ever work with, to determine what type of supports could allow them a greater level of independence. What type of things do they want to work on to increase their independence? What type of support might they need? Can we build support around, a few hours in the afternoon when an individual is home and mom and dad are at work? It looks so many different ways. An individual desiring to participate in our project has multiple ways based on this notification to inquire and participate in the initial steps of the process, again, which is the consultation. So they can make a phone call to a dedicated phone line. They can actually go online and enter their information into a portal that information will automatically transfer to us, and we can contact them, or they may simply send an email to a dedicated email. So this project will be isolated from all other business and strictly focused for those individuals on the wait list. There is a capacity for our project, and that is we project to service roughly around 175 individuals that are currently on the wait list throughout the project period. Because of that, and because of the number of people on the wait list, it will be a kind of a first come, first served. So first inquiry, they go on a list for the next consultation. And then once we've reached capacity and at certain date parameters, we will not be able to have any new individuals enter the program, and that's all based on budgeting. So that's kind of the why and the how for the innovation pilot project. But really, what we want to do throughout this project is, and the very important thing is the evaluation, the subjective and objective data that is garnered from those particular participants. We desire to obviously improve access to services and supports, especially really to rural residents, because our project is statewide. Any individual in all 92 counties can receive remote support services. So there is not a concern over, lack of staff, lack of service providers in certain geographical areas. We are able to cover anyone within the state with our services. And the data intends to show that remote support services can do many things. Remote support services obviously hopes to enhance the independence of the individuals themselves, but also help them work on different skill sets, decision-making processes, different things in their life. And we may find that overall family health is improved when remote support services are available to an individual, because they're not always 100% reliant on their current caregivers, which right now, being on the wait list, is only family. And an interesting side note to that is, we had a mother tell us that one of the things she always wanted to do was join a book club. And she could never join a book club because she always had to be home and she couldn't go out and do anything for herself. And the fact that her son was utilizing remote support services, she was able to now go to a book club once a week and feel comfortable doing that and have the peace of mind doing that, because her son had access to support when she wasn't in the home. Seems like a small thing, but the impact of that was fantastic. So, and that is the type of things we want to see with these families that are on the wait list, because, as we well know, once individuals receive the waiver, then they go into the potential of, again, lack of available services. due to staffing shortages, due to geographic locations where services might not be available for their particular needs. And remote support services remaining in place can help alleviate some of that burden that the entire process sees. If you could, Jennifer, go ahead and go to the next slide. So what is remote support services and how does Safe and Home do it? A lot of people hear remote support services and they think electronic monitoring. And remote support services, while there is technology involved, technology creates a means for communication. It creates a means for ascertaining routine movement, throughout the home. And there is potentially a lot of gadgets involved. But the true concept of remote support services is the human-human connection to empower the people with the disability to live independently in their homes and communities using a remote support staff that's readily available to them on their terms because they dictate the scope of the services. Next, please. So just a little bit about different types of remote support services and some of the advantage. Obviously, remote support services are very personalized. It does truly provide peace of mind, not only for the individuals, but their family members and all stakeholders involved. And it does well because it's a non-directive service and the service is truly controlled by the individual. That inherently provides value to the individual because they are in control of it, because remote support services are delivered in an extremely non-directive manner, which is sometimes, as we all know, a little bit different sometimes than direct support professional. The word direct is right in there, and it is a much needed service, but by design it becomes sometimes a directive service. Next slide, please. Just a cute picture. Next slide, please. So there are multiple solutions that Safe and Home provides, and this is just a short example of that. So should you get inquiries about what is remote supports, what do they do? And we do a lot of different things. We can assist with medication management. We can assist with elopement mitigation, emotional regulation, supported decision-making, multiple solutions. And again, they are all customized to the individual because no two individuals are alike and no two support plans are alike for any individual. So we do have the ability to do multiple things in that arena. And I think that was it. Last slide. That's just a QR code. If anybody wants to scan that would take you to our website. Thank you all for your time. Hope I didn't go over.
No, you're good, Scott. I was just getting ready to like ping you, but you were great. Again, thank you, Scott. I just want to share those letters did go out and emails yesterday to folks. And again, just really stressing to everyone on the call, Scott, the Safe and Home project is, or I'm sorry, that in particular is for folks on the wait list. So just want to make sure we clarify that. So, if you are interested in that project, obviously contact Scott and I can answer any questions, but it is being offered in that particular project to folks on the wait list. So if you have any questions too, just let me know. Just want to make sure we stress that as much as we can. So it's not confusing for folks. Thanks, Scott. Okay, great. We have a Wabash Center, Jason.
Good morning, everybody. Let me just apologize in advance real quick. Our grounds crew is doing a super thorough job of mowing and edging right outside my window right now. So if you hear the sound of the lawnmower going by, you'll know why. Let me just echo some of the sentiments we've already heard. Thank you to Jessica and Jennifer for putting these on. They're super informative. I agree that this is a very energizing process. And appreciative of the opportunity to engage with some stakeholders to maybe take a few risks in order to see what impact we can have on some longstanding systemic challenges in this field. So I only have a few slides. I'm going to go pretty quick. Our pilot project is a partnership between Wabash Center and our one of our local mental health providers, Mental Health America, Wabash Valley region. I've actually started talking about this project about 3 years ago, right at the beginning of the pandemic. It's sort of a brainchild between myself and Brandy Christensen, who is the CEO at the local Mental Health America. We both started our careers as DSPs. And so we're both pretty passionate about helping support those who support. And it's really a recognition of a few factors. And so I'll just run through those. You know, DSPs often experience secondary trauma. And that includes, but isn't limited to, witnessing verbal or physical aggression, self-injury, sometimes sexually maladaptive behaviors. Oftentimes we ask those individuals as DSPs to de-escalate those situations, to intervene, and then to offer some sort of debrief with the individual afterwards as a way to sort of reconcile some of those behavioral episodes. And there's a lot of evidence out there that secondary trauma has some really strong correlations to emotional exhaustion, some negative self-image, and then also low levels of personal achievement and accomplishment, which is essentially the definition of compassion fatigue. And this project also came about as a recognition of the voluminous clinical research out there about the fact that DSPs experience some common mental health challenges like anxiety and depression at a much higher rate than the general population. And then also that, so let me just back. So adverse childhood experiences, this could be anything from, you know, witnessing domestic violence, substance abuse, neglect or abuse in your home of origin. And it's a rating scale that's used to determine, there's a correlation between the number of adverse childhood experiences that you have and then the number of overall disruptions that you have in your life. And about 75% of DSPs have had at least one adverse childhood experience or ACE in their life. And 30% of the current DSP workforce has experienced 4 or more adverse childhood experiences. So it's a recognition that, one, it's a really hard job. Individuals that are supporting persons with disabilities suffer from compassion fatigue and a host of mental health challenges above and beyond the general population, and they have some life struggles. And so the pilot is designed on a regional basis. And I've listed the sort of regional approach that we're taking here on this slide. So it's open to DSPs on a regional basis. It's a training and overview facilitated by a mental health facilitator through MHA. And these seminars or trainings will focus on a couple things. One, what are the common mental health challenges experienced by DSPs, and like what is the origin of those, and here's some symptoms. And then some best practices related to psychological self-care. So some tools, tips, techniques that folks can take away from their time in that seminar to employ in their lives and in their work. And then also complementary mental health screening. MHA will be the keeper of that information. Wabash Center will get it back in aggregate, anonymized, but they'll be the keeper of that information. And then MHA is one of the few mental health providers in the US that has at no charge to participants what they call the mental health navigator, which is sort of summarizing that information from the mental health screening and then aiming the individual to connections to resolve or do something about those mental health challenges. And then this is part of sort of an overarching campaign that Wabash Center is undertaking, and we're not the only ones, but really trying to understand, recognize, and make some commitments to the overall well-being of our DSPs. You know, they represent the best of us, and sometimes they can also represent the worst of our industry. And so it's a commitment to tackling some underlying well-being, and also a recognition that for many DSPs, there's a lot of challenges that they're experiencing in their lives. Mental health being just one of those. You know, some other observations that I have based on my experience and doing some research is, you know, our DSPs struggle sometimes with basic necessities. Sometimes there's some housing insecurity, food insecurity. They're more susceptible to predatory payday lending, all these other factors in their lives that impact their work. And so this is sort of a part of an overarching approach to our DSPs and supporting them in ways that we haven't before. And so the intended outcomes of this project are some impact on turnover, some impact on job satisfaction and longevity. And I put a question mark at the end of that because this is a pilot project. We have some assumptions about, we have a hypothesis about what we might be able to do to change some of these trajectories, but we don't know. And so this will be a way for us to evaluate and test that. From a turnover perspective, just from our organization, you know, we calculate that as a business cost of about $1 million a year. You know, you onboard individuals, you teach them and train them for a couple weeks, and then for a variety of reasons they exit the system, and sometimes they never come back to work. And so we know that if you can impact generally the longevity in increments, that you can be pretty successful. So for example, if you can get somebody through their first 90 days as a DSP, you generally can buy yourself a year. And if you can get a DSP through the first year of employment, you can generally buy yourself 3 years, and so on. And so again, this is an attempt to impact that trajectory, and this pilot project is really about testing that hypothesis. So a couple things that we're already up against that are challenging, and that it's food for thought, and some things that we're still trying to work through. So one of those is this program will be available for folks who self-select. And so I don't know about those of you in the viewing audience or at your respective organizations, but overall employee engagement since 2020 has been in decline. And so we tend to see the same folks from our DSP pool engaging with us. And so we want to try and cast that net a little bit wider, but this will be a self-selection process. And so are there any self-selection biases that come as a result of that? And then despite many advances in the mental health world, especially from an awareness approach and from recognition that there are people in our own lives that we know struggle with mental illness, there still is some stigma when it comes to mental health. And so we're looking at ways to, how do we break down that stigma and encourage people to participate so that they might benefit from the program. And one of the ways in which we're doing that is we're just strictly incentivizing it. So anyone who participates will be eligible for a couple of incentives just to get them in the door. And at this point, our plan is that the first session will be scheduled the summer of 2023. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We've already done some co-campaigning with Mental Health America within the organization to sort of prepare Wabash Center DSPs for the fact that this is coming, but we'll be doing more of that as we get closer to the summer. And look at that, I just ran through my last slide and I'm just clicking through to somebody else. So that's it in a nutshell.
Great, thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate that. Next slide. So I just always like to either start or end with this. As you guys all know, every one of these projects, it has really this gold North Star that when we were approving them. And so we're super excited. Thank you guys so much for sharing that. I do have one question that came up, and Andy, I don't know if it's for you, if you want to address, or Megan. Could you just clarify the selection process again for individuals that are interested in this pilot for EGTI?
Yeah, I saw that come through and I was waiting to
Okay.
see if we were gonna have
I
Q&A.
think that's a good one to maybe just say, publicly too, just in case.
Yeah, so that the answer is right this second, I don't know. What we will be doing is getting in and first identifying what jobs are we going to be building the training programs around? What do those jobs require? So what skills are necessary in order to be successful in that job? And then that will drive what skill requirements we're really looking for in the individuals. So the answer right now, I don't know, but it will be coming, and the skill requirements will be based around the jobs that we are selecting for the training program to be built around. So all that information will be posted as we are kind of ironing out what all these details look like. And then once individuals are interested, there will be an application interview process. So an individual will apply, they will come into Allison Transmission for an interview and assessment. For the instructors to get to see hands-on what do the skills of this individual look like to make sure it's a good fit before beginning the program. So sorry, I don't have exact answers for you, but that information will be rolling out over these next few months.
Great, thank you. So in the meantime, just if you are interested, please, follow our announcements through beads. Please reach out to us, just in case you're afraid that you're going to miss something. There's lots of information coming out of these. So I know sometimes stuff can get, if you're receiving a lot. So please keep in touch and follow along through these webinars. And again, through our listserv, if you join that, we are putting out lots of information around these projects too. So. All right. And I'm also, our contact information is up. I spelled my email wrong when I first put it in the chat. So, but if you have any questions, please contact beads.help, as well as myself. I've received a lot of questions over the last couple of days, so we're happy to answer and connect you to these entities, or honestly, and if you're not necessarily wanting to join a project, but you have suggestions or thoughts, please continue to give those to us. I mean, everyone on this call wants feedback, regardless of whether you're in us as well, whether you're joining a pilot or not. So again, keep that coming, and we're excited, and more to come. The next webinar will be this Friday at 10 a.m. So hopefully most of you can join us. And if not, the webinar will be recording and slides will be posted on the website shortly. Thank you guys again. Thank you to all who presented today, and hope everyone has a great rest of your week. Take care. Bye-bye.